Good morning, and happy Tuesday from the farm. Welcome to another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil, where I get to talk story and touch on topics about hydroponics and the farmers who grow the crops and creatures we need to eat. And I am your host, Seany Alfalfaseed. Thank you for being with us on this beautiful morning. Our snow is finally melting, which seems a bit odd from what I experienced when I was younger. It seems like I'm chipping plastic out there, but as it melts away, it means that we're about to experience the unknown season called mud season. We actually have two mud seasons here distinctively. I'm quite curious how many of you out there might have an unknown season that we don't quite talk about. So as spring comes around, we know here it as mud season. And I haven't lived in a lot of places in the world, so I'm curious what it's like where you're at. And the only other place I've lived for long term is on the island of Oahu, which is in the Hawaiian island chain. And their mud season there is just there's water all the time. So there's mud, and it's not really a season. So it's quite cool. As I was reviewing and reading around recently, I came across an article, and the headlines caught my heart. I was thinking of my experiences in Hawaii, and it's why this title about the Salvation Army caught my attention because of what they are doing. So I originally came across the Salvation Army from an intimate perspective when I was trying to get sober while going to school in Hawaii. I struggled with my alcoholism, and I almost failed out of school my last year because I was at the bottom of the bottle most of the time. And I enrolled, or admitted myself rather, into an alcohol recovery program that the Salvation Army had. So I would get on the bus several times a week, go across island, and go to this outpatient treatment center. I wasn't ready to change at the time, so I wasn't quite receptive to the messages, but there was one thing that always stuck with me, and it sticks with me today, and I think about it often. I had a counselor tell me, quite point blank, "Sean, if you ever want to be a farmer, you have to be sober." And that took me back. And it may not be true for anyone else, but it was true for me, because I can see, even today, how that plays in my life. But real quick, since I've got you here, if you've liked what you've heard so far, or there's something you want to hear in the past, if you'd be so kind as to leave a review and let me know what you've enjoyed so far. And while you're there, let others know why they should stick around too. So today's episode is about another nonprofit that is adopting hydroponics to serve their community. Now, there is something special about that nonprofit, the Salvation Army. It has a special place in my heart. And I'm sure many of you have heard of the Salvation Army. If not, when you go into the grocery store or other places during the holiday times, the little jingle of the bell is a quick tell that the Salvation Army is near. But have you heard of Freight Farms? Freight Farms is a company that pioneered this concept of the container farm. Freight Farms uses shipping containers and puts in an automated hydroponics system to grow produce. So they started back in around 2011, And now, fast forward to today, they have over 600 farms in over 39 countries that are able to provide fresh and healthy food to neighborhoods. They were originally started by a couple guys who saw a need for agriculture to emerge as a competitive industry in the urban setting. And they thought that they were originally going to get their start on rooftops, but soon realized that shipping containers were a better way to implement their modular and scalable design. And they were able to go in and put these shipping containers in areas that they were not able to put up rooftop farms. Their mission is to build the infrastructure and technology that supports local food. One of the farms that they're going to set up is going to be in the parking lot of a Salvation Army in Northeast Florida. So the Salvation Army of Northeast Florida has a campus in downtown Jacksonville, and they are partnering with Freight Farms to set up one of those containers at their parking lot to produce kale and other produce for their in-house kitchen at one of their food pantries there in town. What's really neat about this project is that the Salvation Army is partnering with the local city's utility company called JEA. JEA is a community-owned utility company that has expressed interest in expanding their knowledge of producing food indoor and supporting indoor food production technologies. So in conjunction with the Salvation Army, they hope to go through the process and put their first container this summer of 2023. It's a fascinating collaboration between a city utility, a nonprofit, and a for-profit food production company. It's something that I hope to see more and more as we go on in the future, and I look towards their success so that we may be able to model what it is they are doing and find some success ourselves in areas where we may not have known we could find some. So that is all I have for us today on this gorgeous Tuesday. If you want to know more about how hydroponic fodder is helping farmers save water, improve livestock quality, and become better stewards, head on over to thinkingoutsidethesoil.com and get yourself a copy of my book so you don't miss out on becoming part of the next agricultural revolution. Join us again tomorrow, and thank you for being with us on another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil. Take care and have a lovely day. Hey, before you go, check out the links below, and if you'd be so kind as to leave a rating and review and follow the show. For those with feathered friends, don't forget to get yourself some of our Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix. This supplemental mix has been shown to give you some of the best eggs with the yummiest yolks. You'll have happy, healthy hens that abandon the feeder and give you eggs with high levels of vitamin A and omega fatty acids. So don't forget to get yourself some Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix.